Hey, how's it going everyone? It's Tanner here. Now I am back after my vacation and I'm here today with a little bit of a different video. So basically, if you guys follow me on Twitter, you would know the story already, but for those of you who don't follow me, here's what happened. So I was walking around in a sort of flea market area, I guess you could say, and I came across a big display of LEGO minifigures, or at least I thought they were LEGO minifigures. At a more closer glance, I could easily tell that these were all knockoffs. Every single one of these figures in that display was fake. Yes, even the Ninjago figures, which was really disappointing. But I actually did buy one. As you can see here, I have a authentic Deepstone Nia, along with the knockoff Deepstone Nia that I purchased from that same flea market. Now easily you could tell right away which one is the knockoff, even without me telling you. It's actually pretty obvious, and that's why I chose Nia in the first place. Nia was probably the most obvious knockoff that they had there, for a couple of reasons, but one main reason that we'll get into later. So I figured I would get one of these knockoff figures and come back and do a video comparing the real one to the fake one. I figured it would be a fun little video to do and something different on my channel that I haven't really done yet. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so probably the most obvious thing about the figures are the differences in the mask. So on the left will always be parts from the authentic version, and on the right will always be parts from the knockoff version. So starting off again with the masks here, you can see quite a big difference. In fact, they're not even the same piece. This one, the knockoff, is actually a repainted ZX mask, if I can slide that back in there. You can see it's basically just painted over to make it look like the Deepstone version. It's not even the same mold, which kind of confused me because all of the other Deepstone characters that they had on display at that knockoff stand did in fact use the Deepstone mask. So I don't know why this one had the ZX mask just repainted, but it's pretty obvious that it's not even the same piece. In fact, I don't even think this is the same piece right here, but it definitely looks exactly like a ZX molded headpiece, just repainted to look more like this one. Otherwise, swinging all the way around and looking at it from different angles, you can see even the back, yes, this does in fact confirm that this is actually a ZX mask. I mean, just look at that compared to the J mask I had back here. It's pretty amazing. I don't know why they decided to use the ZX head mold. Again, I really don't know. But as you can see here, yes, both of them are very different. And I noticed that the knockoff version also has more gloss to it, like it's more shiny. And that's true for every part of the knockoff figure. So I don't know what the deal with that is, but yeah, you can definitely tell that they just tried to repaint this over to make it look more like this one. So moving right along, here we have the faces, or the heads. Now remember, the real one is on the left and the fake one is on the right. But looking at the faces by themselves, I think the fake one actually got pretty close. Yeah, you can tell that it's definitely off, like the proportions aren't really right as opposed to this one. But yeah, it's pretty close. I definitely give them props for this one. Now, every single part on the fake one will not say the word LEGO on it, while the real one obviously will say LEGO or have the LEGO brand, you know, on its pieces. So right away, that's a good way to tell whether or not you have a fake or a real figure. But I think it's pretty obvious when you have a fake figure, in my opinion, especially if you have lots of real ones. Alright, so now looking at the shoulder pads, as you can see here, they're pretty close. They're pretty proportional, I guess. The fake one definitely, I think, used the same mold here. There are some slight differences, such as the color on this one being a little bit darker than this one, and again being more glossy for whatever reason. I actually prefer the more glossy shoulder pads, so I am leaning towards the knockoff a little bit, but I always go for authenticity, so obviously these ones are my preferred choice. But yeah, pretty close for the shoulder pads. I'm actually really surprised. Everything else besides the mask I found are actually pretty close. The knockoff figure actually got generally close with those, but you can still tell. But I think that's it for the shoulder pads. Alright, so now here we have the bodies, or the torso pieces. Now I definitely notice a big difference here. Of course you can tell on the real one you have that little white tab right there, or a little white slip of paint, and then on the fake one you obviously do not. Again, the fake one also does not say LEGO, while the real one over here does, on top of the place where the head goes. Now another big difference here, again, is the gloss on the on this one here. You can definitely tell that it's much more shiny and more glossy than the real one. And also I noticed that the colors on this one are a little bit darker too, though that might just be my eyes. But I don't know about you, but does the blue belts look a little bit darker on this one? It does for me, and I'm not really sure why that is. Maybe just more paint usage or something like that. But again, the gold is much more shiny on this one as well as opposed to this. It's a much more vibrant and obvious gold shine than over here. And yeah, just overall, it's just weird. If we flip around to the back, you can see again more of that dark paint over here. It's definitely more noticeable for me on the back than it is on the front. But I am actually really impressed with how close they got with the fake figure as opposed to the real one. It actually looks pretty similar, and I know that a lot of you guys will be able to tell the difference, but I know just regular people, just regular consumers won't be able to tell, and that's what really upsets me about this whole thing. And now we get to the legs. Now the legs, like the torsos, are actually very similar to each other, but they do have some major differences. First of all, again, the darker paint carries through from the fake one. As you can see, it's a little bit darker, especially down here in the legs, than it is over here. The gold paint is actually much darker over here as well as opposed to this. I'm actually a fan of the darker paint on the real legs. It seems kind of bland, but overall, yeah, the legs are actually pretty similar. I'm really surprised, you guys. I'm really surprised of how close the fake one actually got to the real one. But of course, if you're like me, you could tell right away. Alright, so I think for the last little segment, we will actually build up the figures. Remember, fake one is on the right, real one is on the left. So put the torsos on. Already you can kind of see a difference. Again, the glossiness coming off the fake one. Shoulder pads, pretty much going the same. I could also tell that on these ones, I forgot to mention this, but it's actually really loose over here, like in the way that the legs and the arms move on the fake one, as opposed to, of course, the stiffness of the real one. And now we put the heads on. Heads are actually pretty close in my personal opinion, though I can, in fact, tell when, or I can very clearly tell which one is fake. And, of course, the easiest way to tell, the masks. Yeah, the masks are just no thank you, sir. But yeah, there you have it, you guys. Here we have the fake, the knockoff Ninjago Nia Deepstone figure as opposed to the real one. So that'll pretty much wrap it up for this video, guys. If you enjoyed, feel free to give this video a thumbs up rating and click that subscribe button. It really means a lot to me. Also, be sure to leave a comment stating whether or not you have any fake or knockoff Ninjago figures or just LEGO figures in general. Guys, also be sure to leave your video suggestions down below as well for a chance to have your idea featured as an actual video sometime later on. But yeah, thanks a lot for watching. This was my look at a real Ninjago minifigure compared to a fake one, and I will see you guys in the next video.